If students are able to use magic before enrolling at NRC, why do they need magical pens? In the Twist universe it seems that magic comes from a mage's magic pool, and/or from nature, in the case of certain Fae characters, not from magical pens or stones. We get examples of characters using magic without their pens or magestones during Vargas camp, where the first thing Vargas does is confiscate everyone's pens to force them to rely on brains and brawn only. But we still have Floyd magically starting a fire and Trey setting up a magical barrier, etc., without any access to pens or stones. Ruggie says they are able to use some basic magic without magestones, but bigger attack spells are out of the question, and especially unique magics, but he doesn't mean that they are physically incapable of casting spells without stones. The only thing that magestones do is take on the blot that is created from a mage using magic. Vil, for example, uses his unique magic during Book 6 without access to any magestone. For a quick review of blot, Crowley explains. Blot is a form of waste that is created as a byproduct of using magic. Just as cars run on gasoline, and in the process, expel dangerous gases as exhaust, casting spells consumes magical energy, and in the process, expels blot. Research into the nature of blot has been conducted since time immemorial. And yet, we still understand little about it. All we know for sure is that it is terrifically toxic, and excessive amounts can wreak havoc on a mage's mind and body. Power and peril are two sides of the same coin. Even the greatest of mages cannot cast spell after spell without consequence. So this is why they need the magestones, to accumulate their blot, not to make it possible for them to cast magic. And the pens themselves are also unnecessary as long as there is a way for a mage to have a magestone on hand. While not officially confirmed, the faculty of NRC seems to have their magestones attached to various accessories rather than pens, while the students of RSA seem to be using their magestones as badges rather than pens, and Rollo's magestone is maybe his ring. So what happens to the blot of mages who use magic without magestones? As Vargas explains, since blot normally gets absorbed into the magestones, when they have no such stones then magic causes blot to accumulate directly in their bodies. This is what leads to overblot. Crowley explains that magestones are similar to a lightning rod of sorts, taking on the blot that would otherwise build up within the mage when they use magic. And blot accumulation is significantly affected by the mage's mental state, with negative emotions such as anger, fear, panic, and sorrow making blot accumulate even faster than it would otherwise. So does being a strong mage mean that you are also more resistant to blot? Does someone with a small magic pool not need to feel particularly strong anger or sorrow? Could a weak enough mage overblot over a minor inconvenience? Crowley says no. People vary greatly in their capacity for magic. However, save for a few key exceptions, there is little variance in most mages' tolerance for blot. In essence, it means that those who possess a great capacity for magic must be meticulous in their efforts to avoid accumulating blot. This means that both Riddle and Deuce might have a more or less equal tolerance for blot. Stronger mages are at greater risk. Riddle, Leona and Vil have to be more careful than Deuce and Ace, for example, as Deuce and Ace are just not at a level where they need to worry about it, according to Crowley, hence why Cater stops Riddle from using his unique magic on Ruggie in Book 2, saying, "You only just recovered from the blot." That is likely why we have heard of students using magic prior to receiving magestones, but we have not heard of any of them overblotting. Deuce summoning cauldrons, Silver moving a spoon, Column levitating a feather, Epel flying on brooms, even Jamil using his unique magic prior to NRC was apparently not enough to trigger an overblot, despite how that blot had nowhere to go and likely built up inside their bodies as a result. But blot does not seem to be something that a mage must be burdened by forever once it starts accumulating inside of them, with Crowley saying that eating well and getting plenty of sleep will result in most of the blot clearing away from a magestone, so that is possibly how it is cleared from a mage's body as well, maybe.